how are you? What's your name? Sam, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Alexia, thank you for taking the time, telling your story. It's important. Unfortunately, there are an awful lot of stories like yours all over America as I travel the country. Too many. Don't have to be. And folks, it's great to be back. It's great to be here. There's not a better governor in the United States of America than Gretchen Whitmer. That's a fact. I've met virtually all of them. And Gary, we badly need you back in the United States Senate, pal. We badly need you back in the United States Senate. And my sister, Debbie Stabenow. God love you, Debbie. We worked so closely together for so long, and as Vice President as well. Folks, look, we need to send Gary back for another term, standing up for Michigan, Michigan families, small businesses. He was our main congressional partner back in 2010 when we passed the critical legislation supporting small businesses. I remember the president giving me the responsibility to go out and round up support. The person my go-to guy to get it done, I mean it sincerely, was Gary. He was the go-to guy. And he always shows up, and he always shows up for Michigan. And like all of you, Jill and I are so grateful that the governor and her family are safe. It's an unusual year. Governor, you've been through a lot, but my Lord, you are a leader. You stand up straight and tall, and you don't bend. Governor, it's not easy to lead in moments of crisis, but that's a determination of whether you have a real leader. Well, you stepped up to the crisis, and you've stepped up. You've done it, and you keep doing it. As I said a moment ago, you're pretty much doing it better than anybody else in the whole United States of America. You've shown this whole nation just how tough and thoughtful you are. Tough just like Michigan. I've got to believe this state has to be so proud of you. I know personally I am as I've gotten to know you. I'm proud to call you friend, Gov. We're grateful to the FBI and law enforcement to discover these domestic terrorists and stop them. And make no mistake, that's who they are. Domestic terrorists. Flat terrorists. Planning to blow up a bridge on American soil to threaten the lives of police officers, to kidnap an elected leader. And now we're finding out the same thing was happening in Virginia. You know, it's the sort of behavior you might expect from ISIS. And it shouldn't shock the conscience of every American. Every American. And the failure to condemn these folks is stunning from the outset. I remember, it matters. You've heard me say it before, words matter. And the words of a president particularly matter. When the president tweeted, "Liberate Michigan," liberate Michigan, that's the call that was heard. That was the dog whistle. Just like when he said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides in Charlottesville. Father, as they came out of the fields carrying torches, their veins just bulging, shouting anti-Semitic bile, carrying Nazi flags, accompanied by the Ku Klux Klan. And when a young woman was killed protesting, the president was asked, what did he think? And he said something no president has ever heard. There were very fine people on both sides. Those words were heard just like when he stood on the debate stage with me and refused to denounce white supremacists, but told that white ring extremist group to, quote, stand back and stand by. Stand back and stand by. An American president not only shocked us, but it stunned the world. Those those words we heard. You know the reason I decided to run for president, and I know that Debbie knows this. I hadn't planned on running ever again after my son died. But when I saw those folks coming out of those woods, I thought, how in God's name can we remain silent? And I said at the time, it was somewhat not criticized, but people didn't think it was, well, I don't know what it was. When I said, I think we're in a battle for the soul of America. I think we are. What I saw at Charlottesville and the president's response to it is why I went to Gettysburg Battlefield in Pennsylvania last week. Because I thought there was a need to stand up to hate in America and urge us, as Lincoln did, to come together as a nation. What I've learned, hate never goes away. It only hides. It never goes away. And if you give it oxygen, it comes out from under the rocks, it grows. We need to be clear, from the president on down in this country, there is no place for hate in America, period. None. It will not be tolerated. But President Trump revels in division and chaos. He'll do anything to distract us from focusing on his failures to deal with this virus and to protect the nation. He's still living in a dream world. He keeps telling us that this virus is going to disappear like a miracle. He said, I think last night in his town hall, I didn't have the pleasure of hearing it. I was doing one myself. He said, we have turned the corner. As my grandfather Finnegan might say, we were here, he said, he's gone around the bend. Turn the corner. My Lord. It's not disappearing. In fact, it's on the rise again. It's getting worse, as predicted. We all know the terrible price this nation has paid. Lives lost, unemployment way up. Across Michigan and the country, folks are worried about making their next rent payment or mortgage payment. Or their health care will be ripped away in the middle of a pandemic that you worked so damn hard, Gary, to keep.